Hello, welcome to March 2 of the pod presented by Eternal Roofing. Apparently, this noon start is a little early for me, Ben. I'm not quite where I usually am at this time.
Yeah, some technical difficulties, but we're going to find a way to get it done.
We will get through this, as always. Here we go, season 3, episode 33. It is the season 3 finale. And here in a bit, we will talk about what that means and when you can expect us back. We're going to take a bit of a break, but we're going to come back, I think, new and improved in a lot of ways. My name is Cory Hogue. I'm your host, producer, once band member from catfans.com. I don't know if they had any pull in getting me permanently banned from Twitter, but I am anyway. Find me on Facebook and other social media channels, not named Twitter, at Cory Hogue Sports, CORY. Hogue Sports. I'm joined by the co-host, analyst, the real ball knower, the reason you're listening, the man behind that Sports of SHSU on Twitter and Instagram, and a proud Bearkat himself, Ben Sorrells. And unfortunately, Ben, we're going to open this podcast on a bit of a sad note before we get into what we want to talk about, which is the Cats and stuff. But unfortunately, we lost one of our own a couple weeks ago or last week on the football team, William Davis. He was one of 6 children, including 4 sisters. He graduated from Virginia Union with a bachelor's degree in entrepreneurial management from Virginia Union in 2024 and earned a master's degree from West Virginia before transferring to Sam Houston for his final season of collegiate football. Sam Houston Athletic Director Bobby Williams released a statement that read, quote, "We lost a member of our Bearkat family this weekend, and everyone is in pain today. My heart hurts right now for the family, friends, coaches, and teammates of William Davis. We are never prepared when we lose someone suddenly in our lives, and it's especially tough when it is someone so young and still has a full life in front of them. I want to express my sincerest condolences to Will's family and everyone whose life he touched." Head coach Phil Longo described Davis as a, quote, "beloved member of the football family and a super passionate young man who will be sincerely missed." All throughout the weekend, current and former teammates flooded social media with love for the Davis family and the descriptions of a tremendous teammate known for his smile. Ben, I think we joined the entire college football community in mourning the loss of another Bearkat. I don't know if you knew him personally, but by all accounts, he was just a terrific person, and unfortunately, he's gone from us a little too soon.
Yeah, just a horrible thing. Really, really sad. And, I mean, everything everyone said about him was really, really great. Was a guy that Sam Houston recruited really hard last year, actually, during going into Phil Longo's first year. So the relationship with the staff had been there for 2 years now. And, yeah, just a horrible tragedy. Thoughts and prayers are with the team, all the players, coaches, his family. So, yeah, just a horrible thing, and hopefully they can honor him this season. I know there's been some talk about honoring him, so hopefully we can do that this year and continue to have his memory live on.
I don't see any reason why it shouldn't happen like that,
Yeah.
why they can't do that. And it is hard, especially when it's a current teammate. The colleges go through this all the time. I know Midwestern State did. Western New Mexico went through it like twice in a short period of time. It's always tough. And as a head coach with Phil Longo, you feel for him during this time. You don't know what to say, and there really is no right thing to say. The only thing you can do is be there. Be there for these kids and be the ear for them to talk to and to lean on when these things are it hurts. It just does.
Yeah, and it's never good timing, but the team had just left and gone home for 2 or 3 weeks after the semester ended. They got back on campus yesterday. I know Phil Longo, Bobby Williams, and a couple others were on the way to Destin when the news actually came out for Conference USA meetings. So you wish the team would have been able to be together. I know they came back together yesterday. So, yeah, it was just a horrible thing.
You guys are in our thoughts, definitely, and our prayers right now. Unfortunately, we've been doing this a little too often as as a Bearkat community. We've done it twice in the last few months, and that's twice too many times for me, because love us or hate us, know that we love all of our Bearkat family, and we want to see you guys be safe forever. As we go to our first break with Eternal Roofing, we are going to take a moment of silence to remember William Davis. Eternal Roofing and General Contracting is your choice for integrity work in the Texas Hill Country. Taylor Andrus and crew provide experienced quality roofing services with a mission of roofing with faith, serving with integrity, and sheltering homes in the spirit of stewardship. Don't just take our word for it. Here's what satisfied customer Pamela Allen had to say about Eternal Roofing. They did a great job on our patio roof, came out quick for a quote. The quote was very reasonable, and they started and finished work well and quickly. Not a bad thing to say about Eternal Roofing. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email them taylor@eternalroofingtx.com. Big thank you to our friends over at Eternal Roofing. 3 years running, and hopefully, Ben, it will be a fourth year of a partnership between us, because this is our season finale for season 3. We're going to take a bit of an extended break here, but I think when we come back, we're going to bring a lot more in-depth coverage and opinion stuff to you, the people who we do this for. So we're it's not a complete like rebrand or anything like that, but you'll see some new logos. You're going to see some new things. You're going to see some new articles on our Substack. I have let it be known. Now I'm going to say it all publicly. I'm having nothing to do with Texas high school football this year. And I'm still leaning not covering non-FBS football right now. I'm still trying to decide that. It's been a hard year. I think a lot of you will know it's been a pretty trying year. And so I'm going to take this time to focus on what I have in front of me that I can focus on, and that is March to the Pod and this podcast and this Substack. And I've always thought it could be better if I put more time into it. Well, now I have time.
Yeah. We're going all in. We're pushing all the chips in.
We're pushing it all in. We are. I mean, by General Sam watching, thank you very much. Tuning in on YouTube. More in depth, you say. Yes, sir. Oh, yes. You're going to get Ben's previews that were on all the stuff basically that was on Ben's Cat Fund page is coming to the Substack now. Really excited for that stuff. His previews are the best. You won't find a better preview of the sports anywhere. We're going to have grades after each week of the football season, after each game. Probably a Sunday, maybe a Monday, we'll have grades on the Sam Houston game. We're going to do that for men's and women's basketball over the weekends. It's like a look at the week. We're going to do the same for softball and baseball too at the end of each week. Those sports are going to get that much more in-depth coverage from us. And also, there are things like a lot of the stuff you see on this podcast, especially the last thing we're going to discuss today, where we're going to talk about finances, it is stuff that I get that I could write something about that, put it on the Substack, and then, and that kind of stuff. One thing that has worked well and will continue to do, I'm going to clip a lot more of these individual segments, put those as stories on the Substack, get those out. Because sometimes people don't tune in to listen to the entire thing.
Right. Yeah.
Right. They want one part. So if you take each part out and put it in there, they know eventually they're going to get that part they want.
Right. Yeah. And we're going to have boots on the ground at Media Day too. So we'll have Media Day coverage, and that'll kick off. I know you'll get into it, but kind of the next season and what we have going into next year.
That will. Yeah. And I'm planning on being there. Let's see. So you'll be in the pressers now too?
I'll always be in them.
I'll be there. I'll be and look, I'm going to be who I am, right? I'm honest. I'm always honest, whether you like what I have to say or not. It's what I believe to be the truth by my biases. That's how I look at that. So yes, I will. I will be there, and I will be at media day. That is a plan. I'm planning on being there now. Man, they moved that thing to Texas Live. It's a weird setup, Ben.
And it's a 2-day event, so I think they're doing the studio stuff one day, and then they're doing a whole day of press conference stuff, which I think is good because it was very crammed before.
Yes, it is, and I will be at the one where they do press conference. I'm not going to be there for all the shoots and stuff where there's nothing.
Yeah, I don't even know if media will be there that day. That might just be the ESPN Plus stuff.
Yeah, most of the time that's just conference getting all the stuff they want for the season. It's a perfect time to do it. I don't blame them, but man, like you said, that is a busy day. The Southland divided theirs up, and stuff. So
yeah,
I think you kind of have to.
Yeah, you do. And I know a lot of people were mad last year. We got 5 minutes with Judy McLeod, and I think we got one question in, and we were trying to figure out what is La Tech status, what is the conference plans to expand, all that kind of stuff. And we pretty much got a statement from Judy and then one question, and she was gone, and that was about it. So, yeah,
well, that was probably not by design.
Oh, no, not at all.
No.
But even the Zoom stuff, I mean, was very limited. I mean, you had 15 minutes with each head coach and the players on Zoom, or if you were in person, and you just couldn't get a lot of questions in. So I think it'll be a much better format this year.
And it's on what, ESPN Plus? Is that where they show it?
Yeah, that's where the studio show will be on.
Okay, then it's not like they're rushed by the TV time.
Well,
I get that for like Big 12 or something, but if you're on the Plus, you're not rushed by TV time.
No. So I think it should be much better this year. Give it a little more room to breathe.
Well, and that media day, right around that time, will be the beginning of the new season of March to the Pod. Season 4 will start right there. Now, exact day and week, I don't know. Ben and I are talking about, because Wednesdays are rough sometimes fitting things in schedule-wise, and so we're going to discuss if there's a different day and time that we can do this. And also the goal is to hopefully get more people listening live as well so they can interact with us.
Might just be spontaneous too, after games, pregame, that kind of stuff too.
Hey, listen, if you start getting full Cory on this, it very well could be jumping on live after games with taking questions or talking about it, like almost a post-game radio show, if you will.
Yeah, call in.
Yeah, I wish, right? You can type in.
Yeah, type in.
Yeah, type in. We're on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook at March to the Pod, March number 2 the Pod. So that is a big thing that's coming up. We will come back, and I promise you're not going to be disappointed, hopefully not at least, with what we're doing and how much more you're going to see out of our Substack. So definitely get on there. March to the pod.substack.com. I'm also going to put it out on, share it onto my personal Substack pages too. I'm not saying I'm not going to know a non-FBS or have thoughts or opinions or things to say. I will. I will still write things on my own personal page. They just, my focus this season is Sam Houston. And, what, let me say this too. One of the weird things, one of the hard things for me, I say hard, it came a little easier than I wanted it to, is when you start doing media coverage like I did at Dave Campbell's, you can't root for a team most of the time. Unless it was a Texas team playing a non-Texas team.
Right.
You could not show that. You couldn't have a team that you really wanted to win every year. And you get accused of it, of course, but is there some of that happens? Yes, we're humans. But you try to keep that subsided as much as possible. And every year I got accused of being a graduate from a different Lone Star Conference school every single year. And I didn't graduate from any of them. So that was all I had to say to them.
You hit the transfer portal and went to all of them at some point.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't graduate from anywhere. All right. So we're not going to talk. I did Vernon College. with the pharmacy tech stuff. Anyway, this is going to be fun. I think you're not going to be disappointed. You're going to get a lot more of us post-game stuff, post-Sunday baseball or softball stuff. I mean, there are possibilities to this stuff that we can do and have a lot of fun doing it and interact with you, who we love to interact with.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
It will be. Well, now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this show. We're starting with grading the baseball team. I think if we're going to grade the baseball team, and this is one of those things where now that I can kind of be a Sam Houston fan, right? Like I can get into fan mode with Sam Houston. I think not getting into fan mode has caused some disagreements at times, which is fine. I'm still going to be objective and honest. And sometimes fan mode is a little harsher objectivity and honesty than you want. So when I was looking at this, I was like, let's take a look at the whole thing. First off, they were picked to finish 12th in the preseason poll, last. And even Ben, I believe you had them. You said
9th or 10th. Yeah.
Yeah, you had 9th or 10th. You said 24 wins would be a good season, right?
Yeah, doubling the win total. That was the expectation, they finished at a minimum.
Yeah, they finished 8th in the Conference USA. They made it to the tournament. They had a 25-33 overall record. They surpassed that 24 win mark, and they were 13-17 in the conference. When you start looking at it from that angle, as we get into how they finished, I'm not sure these grades are going to quite be what some of you would want it to be.
Right. Yeah, and I think there's probably two ways you could grade it. You know, the historical perspective of this program, and then the honest expectations coming into this year.
You know what? I agree. And I would say those are two different grades.
Oh, 100%.
Far different grades. Because if I'm grading where the program is in reference to perennial expectations or tradition, no, you're way down. Okay, yeah. But we're not doing that. We're going off of what were expectations coming in.
Last place in the conference, yeah.
Yeah, what were the expectations? And then what did you do? There are 308 schools that played baseball, 170th in the RPI with Sam Houston. You know what? That's average, right? Like you hear number 170, and in your mind you're like, my God, that's bad. That's average. They were an average college baseball team this year, just based off of RPI, and I think a lot of different stats you'll see that too.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we must mention on this, there are only 5 seniors on this roster. There are some things here with baseball and softball that are going to sound a lot the same. But there are only 5 seniors on the roster. I realize, we're losing one of the best pitchers in college baseball this year. I get that we're likely to lose all them. And there'll be some transfers and things like that. But this is a young team. They've been known as the Bearkats, and I know at the conference tournament they're like they won't be able to say that next year. Well, I don't know. There's a lot more Bearkats coming in.
Yeah, and it's a really good class coming in.
It's a really good class. So I would say next year I would expect to see a very young team again, but hopefully the pitching's not as young. That's one of the things that I would like to see as well. But 5 seniors on the roster, Ben, the future is still bright for this program.
I think so. Yeah, and I think I mentioned it a few times the last few weeks. If you let Sirianni come back after last year, it had to be a 2-year transition. You were never going to go from 12 wins to 40 or 12 wins to a regional. I mean, very likely not. And so you got to see out this 2-year transition. You more than doubled the win total from last year, and you have a very young nucleus to build around. And I'll just say financially, the baseball team is in the best spot of any team on campus. They were already in a good spot. They received a very large donation about a week or 2 ago. And I will just say money will not be an issue for them to be able to retain, go out and recruit one of the top probably 2 or 3 budgets in Conference USA at this point now. So the future is bright. I know people might have their opinions on, the leadership of the program, and that's fine. That's their opinion. But just from a talent perspective, I mean, next year's roster on paper to this point, I mean, it's even going to be leaps and bounds better than this year's team, which was a 25-win team, and next year doesn't have DBU or La Tech in the conference too. So the conference is going to go from the 5th or 6th best in the country to probably the 8th or 9th best in the country. So it's going to be wide open for you next year.
Yes, and if you should be among the top 3 in Conference USA every single season. That should be the expectation. And I believe that next year, that is the expectation. You better finish in the top 3 next year, and that's almost a guaranteed regional bid nowadays. That's how good this conference is. Although with DBU dropping, that's going to, in La Tech, that might hurt a little bit.
Probably top 2. I would say it's still a 2-bid conference next year. I don't know about a 3.
Well, I still, even at that, if you just miss out, that's still a massive improvement. So if you're top 3 in the conference, I think 2 or 3. You got to be right up there, though. You got to at least be 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, and that's probably a 38 to 40 win year overall. And I think you've got to at least get to that 38 to 40 range or get to a regional. I think that's the standard that you have to meet, or it's time to move on.
And figure out how to bring that weekend intensity into midweeks.
Yeah, listen, I'm interested to see. Yeah,
that's those midweek games, guys. I know they're midweeks, but they matter. They do matter. The conference matters more, yes, but those midweek games, they win or they can cost you regionals.
Well, and hopefully you're a team next year like you were in the past that could be competing for an at-large. And then those midweeks really come into play. A loss to HCU, you can't have that if you're trying to get into a regional. You need to go steal a game at an A&M or Texas like you have in the past, or an Oklahoma State like you have in the past. That's the kind of expectation you need to have in the midweeks when you're competing for a regional or an at-large.
So you see what Tarleton did this year.
2 of the last 3 years, yeah. They just didn't get to go to the tournament 2 years ago.
And they went to Texas and won earlier this year.
Yeah. And that's a program led by the former recruiting coordinator, assistant head coach at Sam Houston.
Shocking. I am shocked.
Yeah.
Maybe Sam Houston needs to look at adding that to the staff pretty quickly. But again, here, listen, why is it Tarleton has the money to do that stuff? And the fact that the baseball program now is going to be funded in the top 3. I've always said, if you're serious about competing at the top of the Conference USA, you have to spend money at the top of the Conference USA, because you're not winning without the money. I'm sorry. That's just the world we live in right now. And until we change it, we have to adapt or we're going to fail.
Yeah.
So you got to have the money.
And Sam Houston is slowly adapting. They were very late to adapt, and I think they're, playing catch up, but they're getting there across the board. I mean, it's getting there. It's not where it needs to be, but it's getting there.
I think there's some hesitancy hoping that this wasn't the way college sports was going to go in some ways. And I get that too, right? Yeah. Like I'm not excited about this, but it's the reality of college sports these days.
Yeah. And either you embrace it or you're going to lose.
That's pretty much it. I mean, and it's easier to raise, I think, or get the money necessary for football, some other sports, right? There's some sports that are just a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
That's the facts. Right. Football's an expensive sport, man.
And it's just going to continue to get more expensive.
Oh, yeah. Inflation's not stopping. Pitching wise, for the Bearkats this year, they finished 180th in the nation and 8th in Conference USA, with an ERA that, Ben, this hurts my heart. Although I feel it. I feel after my season I had just now, I feel this deep in my bones, a 6.20 ERA. I know it's college. I'd like to see that in the mid 5.
Well, yes, but last year was an 8.7 or 8.9. I can't remember the exact number. So
yeah, that's right.
Hopefully we can trend, from almost a 9 to a little above a 6 to maybe a low 5 next year.
That would be nice. And that would help get a lot more wins in, but you can't blame Ryan Peterson. The man is the man, and he has finished his career if he has, and if not, then he's only going to add to the career of one of the greatest pitchers. In my opinion, I believe he ranks up there with the top. If you're going to name best ever in the program, I think now Ryan Peterson is included in that topic of conversation.
And he's the best pitcher of the last decade. I mean, Hayden Wesneski was here. I think he left in 2017, I believe it was, around then. Maybe a little bit later than that. I think it was maybe 18 or 19, but it's been about a decade since we've had a pitcher like Ryan Peterson. So, I mean, at least pitcher of the 2020s at a minimum. So he's probably top 10 in program history.
Here's the thing about this baseball program. They could be Omaha almost every year. They could be one of those teams.
They've almost done it in the past, yeah.
And because I don't know that Sam Houston's ever going to have the money to truly be at the top of maybe even the conference or anything else in football. Okay.
Yeah.
But baseball's different at this school. It's been different at this school for a while. And if you truly lean into baseball first, as far as a focus, not saying not to worry about the rest of them, but baseball is our priority because that can get us that national exposure that is so valuable to us.
Yeah, and the baseball or college baseball exposure continues to expand. Like I know ESPN and ABC for the College World Series, they're having an hour-long pregame show, before the game of the day, all 8 or 9 days that the College World Series goes on. I mean, you see what Coastal Carolina has been able to do the last few years with their baseball program. That kind of exposure can do a lot for a university.
And it lifted up the football program because the football program rode those coattails and made more money too. So yes, baseball, if it's at the forefront of your university, if that's the front porch, and everybody goes, football is the front porch of the university. If you want it to be, you have to choose what your front porch is. You get to choose that. And right now, I don't know that there's a sport chosen.
Well, and especially next year, because for the first time you are hosting a CUSA championship and it is at Don Sanders Stadium. So next year, more than ever, it is going to be the front porch of athletics, most likely. I mean, I think football has some upside, basketball has some upside, but baseball's got a shot next year, I think, to create some exposure if things go the right way, especially with the tournament being at Sam Houston.
Now, and I get football people are not going to enjoy hearing this because they're going to want, every sport wants to be at the forefront, the front porch of the university, right? I get this, but listen. I know it hurts. I know it hits the ego just a bit. But hear me out. Baseball can get to Omaha. Now, all of a sudden, baseball's going to get better, but people are going to follow your football more, and they'll want to donate because they're going to want you to win more. And so now, all of a sudden, football, here comes men's and women's basketball, and you're all starting to rise up to the top of the conference because baseball's kind of setting that standard. They're leading the way. Right? Yeah. They're that leader in the department. And when they do well, the expectations and money rise for the rest.
Yeah.
So let's all hitch on board because what do we got to lose out of this?
Yeah.
Right. Stay status quo.
Well, and the upside potential for baseball is the highest of any sport at Sam Houston. It used to be, winning an FCS national championship is probably on par with making it to Omaha, I would say. But you don't really have that anymore. Football, the highest potential is, a Conference USA championship and the New Orleans Bowl, which is still an incredible thing. But baseball has the highest upside potential of any sport now.
And I might say making it to Omaha gets you more than FCS title game. It's a lot closer now than it was 10 years ago, though. See, Sam Houston, I do remember seeing them on TV a couple of times, but it never ended well back in the early Keeler days.
Yeah, no, I know that was the party stopped once you got to James Madison or North Dakota State.
Oh man, those were brutal.
Yeah,
but it was exposure. But Omaha's more, right? Like, and Omaha gets you, and they're covering it so much more. I don't know if you've seen Kyle Peterson, who went to Stanford. He was a pitcher. I know this because he was pitching in the 1995 College World Series against Clemson. I was there. KP, one of the nicest guys I think you'll ever meet in the sport. He's now a part of D1Baseball.com. He's got an ownership stake in it. And Kendall Rogers is one of the top college baseball people in the country.
Yeah.
And they've teamed forces, and now the NCAA and ESPN are including them in it too. Man, baseball's growing.
Yeah, well, the NCAA uses D1's rankings too.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's growing. But yeah.
It is growing. So let's jump on board and let's get this baseball program up to the forefront. And so we can pull the rest of us along with us, and we can all join in the celebration. Cheer for everyone, right? That's how it's supposed to work.
What's your final grade for this year?
Oh, we're gonna get there.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah. No, we're gonna get there. Ryan Peterson, I told you, one of the greatest at 3.38 ERA, 88 innings, 105 strikeouts, only 23 walks. Again, you already said it, one of the best ever. The batting, 274th in the nation and 11 in the conference with a 252 batting average. Ben, let me also just say 182nd in the nation, so average-ish, and 10th in Conference USA in home runs with 48 on the season. In an era that seems like runs are picking back up again, that's a little concerning.
But it's still a massive uptick from the year before, and I think the way this offense was constructed was mainly on the speed, small ball part of it, or contact, even though the contact and average wasn't as good, hitting 252. But, yeah, it was really no big strength of the offense outside of maybe stealing some bags. I know it was the full first team in program history with 4 guys of 20-plus steals, so that was kind of your identity. But you got to lean into to getting a little more pop this offseason, or having these guys develop. I think Wes Baker coming back, assuming he does, that would help. Cade Corcoran, that would help. If Ryan Frandon comes back, he's got some pop too. Nathan Fink possibly coming back. He showed some pop at times, a little too much swing and miss, but yeah, you need a little more pop and slug in the lineup, I think, to go with the speed that you have.
Okay, so allow me to pretend for a second that they actually listen to us and they take in my advice and they try to implement it. Right? Because I said I love speed. When it comes to constructing a baseball roster, I love speed. But you got to balance it out.
Yeah.
You can't have speed 1 through 9. You're not going to create. You're creating more chaos for yourself than you are the opponent at that point.
Yeah.
You want chaos, but you need it in the right parts of your batting lineup, and preferably not at the top. And I think nowadays, considering how many more at-bats you get when you're the first, second, or third hitter in the lineup, more and more teams are starting to put the Mike Trouts and the stars of their team, right? That they're starting to put that at the top of the lineup. And I construct a lineup that way from my best hitter to my worst. But that's recreation ball tenure, so it's not near the same.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot to choose from sometimes.
Slim pickings.
Slim pickings, right? But yeah, I want I think a little better roster construction. And like you said, if not even more power, just more slug.
Yeah.
Right. It's got to be, if you can get 2 bases routinely, your slug up there. We need more guys with an OPS above 750.
Right. Because there was only a few even this year.
Yes. Yeah. And that's one of the big things I look at when I look at effectiveness is on base percentage.
Yeah.
Because if you're getting on base, you're pretty effective.
Right. Yeah. And another one too, Hunter Alford. I mean, a guy with a lot of swing and miss too, but really flashed some pop. And for Wes Baker, Cade Corcoran, Hunter Alford, Nathan Fink, it was really their first exposure to the Division I level, whether that be being a freshman or moving up from the JUCO ranks. So maybe another year of experience for those kind of guys will help, but I think you also need to make a few additions to the roster too.
Yeah, and look, they're only going to get better, and the experience is only going to make them better. And that's part of why this team is so exciting, is because they have a young core that's really got a lot of potential in it, especially on the offensive side. And I would say defense. Their defense, not bad, because they were 90th in the nation, in 5th in Conference USA with a 974 fielding percentage.
Yeah,
that's not bad,
especially in the outfield. I mean, and Jarrett Curtis was a big part of that. I mean, he could cover almost everything out there in center. But yeah, it was another spot where they took a step forward this year.
So now you just need to get some of those guys that can add some slug in there. And if they're strikeout guys, that's fine, but mix them in amongst guys that tend to get on base a little more. So maybe you still have a chance as the lineup turns over throughout the game with him being protected, right?
Right.
And if you protect a strikeout guy with on-base guys, he's likely to get a few more. Somebody's going to get better pitches, either the one before and the one after. So that's a 2-for-1, or he's going to get better pitches.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up, because the year that Sam Houston won the WAC and went to the Baton Rouge Regional, I mean, the protection 1 through 9 through the lineup was incredible. Carlos Contreras, he was one of the best players in the WAC, had, I think, 20-plus homers or around 20 homers. The next year's numbers were cut in half almost everywhere because it was him and Walker Yannick, and that was about it. You know, the protection throughout the lineup 1 through 9 is a big thing. The deeper you can get, the better it makes everybody around you.
Oh, no doubt about it. So let's go one by one here. Pitching, what grade would you give pitching this year?
Oh, a D+.
Okay. 180th in the nation, average-ish. 8th in the conference, average-ish. ERA a bit high.
And I will say that I also have that grade because it was Ryan Peterson and then not a whole lot after that. Ryan was a big part of that, and I think the lack of depth was the frustrating part.
Okay, I'll agree, but I'll disagree as well. Because I think that the starting pitching was there quite often this year. In my opinion, the starting pitching, Tate Hickman, that weekend rotation was pretty solid. Now, they had one or two that I think were used too much early on and flamed out got tired towards the end of the season. Aliosio, I believe, is one of those that comes to mind.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? Like he was really great early, but they used him every game. You can't burn a guy out that early, in my opinion. So some of this I would say, but I'm also including the pitching coach in this, and I think the addition of David Wood was massive for this program. I think it really helped spring it forward. But I mean, this definitely isn't anything that's going to be above average. They're below average-ish. I'm going to go C+ on this one.
Yeah, I was going back and forth between C- and D+. I think the end of the year spoiled it for me too.
Average,
so many games.
Average is C, right? And the reason why it goes up to the plus instead of down is, to me, because they did have so much improvement from last year to this year.
Yeah, that's part of it too. Yeah, grading on the scale.
The hitting. What grade do you give the hitting?
I'm gonna go C. Like I said, it's average, and I think it improved throughout the year too. So I'm gonna go C.
Okay. Below average in the country, 274. Bottom in the conference, 11th. 182nd in the nation, so average-ish. And 10th in Conference USA, below average, with 48 home runs. A lot of below average.
Yeah.
I think at best you're getting a D out of me on the hitting side this year. Just that, you are what your stats say you are, and there's just a lot of below average-ish in there.
Yeah, and I think this also might be one for me where you think more of the second half of the year, the last month of the year, instead of the whole body of work. You had those 2 15-14 games in the midweek back-to-back. You scored 14 to win a game in the Conference USA tournament. You scored 6 to end the regular season. You still put up, I think it was 4 or 5 runs in the final game against Liberty. So definitely showed a lot of improvement, but the body of work as a whole wasn't great.
And that's the thing. I think you and I, this is one thing that makes this so much fun for me, is that I know you and I look at this a little differently. I am an analytical person galore, right? You are what your numbers say you are, and there's nothing else to it. That's my bias, but you're more, hey, this team's improving. I see the improvement. I see them getting better. And so the positivity in that drives a better, how you feel at the end of a season. It does matter.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And that's why I will give you more of that analytical grade, but you'll give that, hey, some people are feeling positive grade too, or worse sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and it's an offense to where, I mean, you really don't, that's where the pitching where you feel worse, but you really don't lose much of anything, assuming there might be guys that transfer, and there probably will be a couple, but you don't really lose a lot. So you got to feel pretty good about it moving forward.
Well, with the money they have coming in, and everything, and I see numbers out there, but we're not necessarily going to put those up. I don't think that's prudent at this time.
I'll put it in the chat for you.
No. There's one in a comment. I just don't know if that's prudent.
Oh, okay.
To put up on the screen.
Well, that's one of the endowment funds. So that from the Gilbert family, and then
the $28,000
there's
check
also
was an endowment.
There's also the Aaron Sirianni endowment fund, which has about 20,000. But I was going to put it in the chat with you that I know of. So
okay, yeah, no, I don't know how much is a good amount these days, right?
Yeah,
because to me, when I see this is how naive I am. Maybe it shows how poor I am, right? When I see 28,000. I think, damn, that's a whole lot of money. And then if you're an athletic director, you're like, oh, okay, thanks for lunch.
That might get us our backup long snapper or something.
Yeah, all right. Like, because I don't think of it that way sometimes.
Yeah, in baseball, 28,000 that will absolutely help. But yeah, they will have 7 figures plus next year. I'll just say that.
Wow, that's good, because now we need to see. And I also want to say that expectations for the hitting next year is going to be a lot higher. I know this year didn't necessarily go probably as well as they wanted, but next year you need to be above average on your offensive numbers.
Yeah, well, and speaking of next year, are we going to get into the coaching stuff?
We will get into that as well. First off, let's go with fielding grade. How 90th in the nation, 5th in the conference.
Yeah, I mean, huge improvement across the board. I mean, Hunter Alvord was up and down at the plate, but I think the shortstop position was better. Ryan Frandon being back at third base helped a lot. I thought Kay Corcoran did a really good job at first base. And then Wes Baker behind the plate as a freshman, very good. Jarrett Curtis just covered everything out in center field. So I would give it probably a B+ for me. 5th in the conference, it's definitely an improvement. It's good. I think if you can get up into that top 3, it could be an A.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I got a B+ on this. 90th in the nation is above average. 5th in conference, that's still above average. 974 fielding, that's not killing you. So yeah, I was going B+ with the fielding as well. So now Coach Jay Sirianni. And if I did not include coaching staff in this, but if you want to add some of that, we could do that as well.
Yeah. I for me, it would probably be a C-.
Yeah. Can't disagree. I'm not going to go lower, not higher.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think he's an average coach, and that's not a bad thing. He's a good coach. Average is good, right? Like, if you're batting 500, you're good. If you're batting 300, that's average. That's 3 out of 10 times. Anyway, he's an average coach.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean bad, but that doesn't also mean that's what you need if your program's going to be the front porch of the university.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, it's tough. I mean, he's gotten the team to a regional. He's shown he can do it. I mean, but you gotta get back there again. And everything I'm hearing and everything I heard going into the end of last year, I heard he was gonna stay. They were giving him another year. Going into this year, there was a little more back and forth chatter, but it definitely seemed to be that he was gonna stay, and have not heard anything since the end of the season almost a week ago about the school moving on. Um, and if they haven't made a move at this point, they're probably not going to make a move. You wouldn't wait a whole week after the season ends to make a move.
Well,
So
hold on. With Bobby Williams,
I think he would. I think he would move on if that's what he wanted to do. He would move on it. And I mean, the $28,000 check that was being referenced, Coach Sirianni was there with the baseball endowment check that was being mentioned. The Aaron Sirianni Endowment Fund got opened this last quarter. So all indications seem to point towards Jay and the coaching staff being back for another year.
I also think, fair or unfair, and in my opinion, human nature is human nature, and I understand why this goes, but Jay's been through a lot.
Yeah.
It's been a really hard last couple years.
Yeah. Did you see the story with him and Tate Hickman that they mentioned during? Yeah, I thought that was really good.
That was so great during a conference tournament. I think it showed.
Yeah, I can't remember which game they aired it, but it was a good story.
And those are some of the things that I'm looking for too, right? If there's stories to be told on that, and you need like some sort of feature story, if anyone's listening, Ben Reichard, if you need a feature story, just shoot me a text, and we'll get times and interviews and stuff set up. I obviously don't always know all that. I don't have the inside information, and I know also you may not either. But if you want someone to tell those stories, I'm here, man. I'll tell those stories.
Yeah,
those will be. I love those.
That's what we want to do. Yeah.
Yes, those are the fun stories. But he's been through a lot, and I think another year is probably the prudent thing to do. Regardless, I know some people would not agree, and that's fine. You're allowed that opinion as well. I understand where you're coming from. I just think another year is kind of prudent right now. But if there's it's regional or goodbye next year is really kind of how I would go into the year looking at it.
That's a fair assessment. Yeah. And I keep saying 38 to 40 wins can get you there too. But if you're at that win total with the Conference USA schedule and the midweeks and out of conference schedule you play, you're probably going to get in based off that win total. Probably.
Yeah, you'd have a really good shot. Okay. Program overall. What's your grade?
Yeah, I mean, we're grading relative to expectation, the talent that was there. I mean, I'm going to go a C. If they would have gotten up to, I mean, they had a chance even to the last weekend to get sixth, and they were in it against Liberty there for about 6 or 7 innings. I think if you could have found a way to get fifth or sixth, get to that semifinal, I think it would have been a B. But yeah, I'm going to give it a C. You did what you needed to do, but you didn't do too much more than what you needed to do.
I can't believe I'm saying this. As someone who's analytical and looking at all these, 170th to 308 in RPI, 180th in pitching, one of the top pitchers in the country. Batting was low, fielding was above average. And when you start talking about where they were last year and how the program took their expectations, where the expectations were, I'm going C+.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's about where I have them.
Yeah, I think C+. And so we're right about at that same level for baseball.
Yep, I agree.
All right. We have 2/3 of a show remaining. We still have softball to go through next, and then we have finances and some stuff to go, and track and field. We're talking track and field as well, wrapping up that season. But first, if you're enjoying the show, please help us grow by rating and reviewing March to the Pod on your favorite podcast platform, and subscribe to our Substack page. Like we've been talking about this whole episode, it is getting better fast. march2thepod.substack.com. March2thepod.substack.com. Hold on a second. My puppy deserves treats for being good and stopping my leg from bouncing. Okay. Good girl. I have a service dog. Bye. March to the pod.substack.com on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and also TikTok. You find us on YouTube. Again, that's at March to the Pod, March number 2, the pod. We're also proud to be part of the Conference USA Podcast Roundtable, has shows covering all 12 Conference USA programs. We're headed to softball next, right after this message from Eternal Roofing. Eternal Roofing only uses the finest materials in the roofing business while providing an exceptional warranty. Why do they use CertainTeed products? Because they complement any appearance, provide exceptional and reliable strength, and are known for their enduring performance. Here's what Shane Sosa had to say about Eternal Roofing. Taylor and his team are amongst the highest level of professionals. They care about their customers and go above and beyond just doing the job. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539 or email Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com. Okay, again, huge thank you. 3 years, and hopefully we make it a 4th with Taylor and his crew over there. Softball 2026 grades. First, a little expectation. Picked to finish 5th in the preseason poll. They finished 8th. They had a 29-27 overall record, 13-14 in the conference. Their RPI was 102 out of 308. Okay. And as you heard with the boys over there on baseball, same thing over here. 5 seniors on the roster. There is a lot returning on a team that, by the numbers, they weren't that bad.
Yeah, it's interesting. There actually is a 2027 softball roster that is posted that I just found that wasn't there a day or two ago. They currently have 16 players on there, so I need to go back and cross-reference, who might have entered the portal or who is not on the roster. Obviously, this might not be official, but still returning 16 players from the year before, including Abigail Young, Bella Perez, Veronica Harrison, Sophia Lundstrom is on here, Peyton Helmley. Pretty much all of your all-conference performers are back. That is a good start going into next year.
Finding that, man, that's going to be – those are the things that I'd be writing down Substack for as soon as this new season gets underway, because that would be a great Substack article right there.
I'll probably put a tweet out after this, after I comb through it.
Yeah, comb through it, because it may not be official, but it is posted on the webpage, and so that makes it allowable for us.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
But that's about 2/3 of your team.
Yeah. Hey, and this is a team, I think expectations are rising for this team. Pitching-wise, they were 129th in the nation, 7th in the conference. The ERA, much more manageable. And, here's one other thing, Ben. College softball today is not what it was 5 years ago. It is a lot more offensive in today's world. And so you got to look at this a little more. 4.25 ERA, that's acceptable at times, and especially in a Conference USA.
Right. And especially without Abigail Young for most of the year, too. I mean, who was supposed to be your workhorse?
Well, the workhorse was Tiffany Sanchez. She had a 2.90 ERA and 113 in the third innings, 108 strikeouts, 31 walks. She multiple player of the weeks. We've talked about her all year long. She finished, I believe it was first team all conference.
Yeah.
And so rightfully so. Same did Ryan Peterson. He finished first team all conference as well. And she was definitely one. And I believe if she doesn't transfer, that staff could be one of the better ones, not just in Conference USA, but top half of maybe college baseball next year.
Yeah, well,
or college softball. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, Sanchez, Abigail Young, and Kendall Daniel are all on that roster for 2027. So, I mean, that's a big start.
That's a really, really good start. Batting 187th in the nation, 7th in the conference in batting average. I did not get the batting average down on that one, apparently. 93rd in the nation, 5th in Conference USA with 50 home runs on the season. I don't know. A 29-27 record says things worked at times and they didn't at other times. It was about 50-50 what you're going to get. But when you look at these numbers compared to the pitching numbers, it's not a huge difference.
Not at all. No, and the home run numbers way up from what Sam Houston traditionally has. Veronica Harrison was a huge part of that, setting the single season home run record this last season.
Yeah, no, she was incredible. But they were average, above, a little below average in some things, above average in home runs, which is nice to have that slug. You also, I still, as much as I've watched college softball and I see the amount of runs being put up, there's still speed really plays in college softball as well. And you still need that balance. You need those 3 or 4 girls that can mash, but you need those 4 or 5 girls that can run and create havoc and get you on base and help those home runs become more than one run. Solo home runs don't really hurt anybody.
No.
Usually.
Typically.
Sometimes they can. Okay. Fielding, 28th in the nation, 3rd in Conference USA. And this fielding percentage, as good as they did, 974, equals what the guys did over there on the baseball field.
Softball's a little different, though, I feel like, from a fielding perspective.
It seems to go a little faster.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that, too, comes from having one of the best catchers in the country in Bella Perez. I mean, captain of the defense, and especially in softball with so many plays around the plate, the bunts and the dribblers and all that kind of stuff. I mean, having Bella Perez back there is a huge asset.
That is a great point to put out there. Okay, so let's get into grades for the pitching.
Yeah, pitching, I'm going to give a B. I mean, I think we came into the year saying this might be the best rotation in the conference. Didn't necessarily live up to that hype, but it was still an above average pitching staff in Conference USA.
And it's interesting you say that, and you went with just a B, right?
Yeah.
129th in the nation, that's above average. 7th in the conference, which is interesting that they're above average in the nation and slightly below average in the conference. The 4.25 ERA, I'm okay with that as well. I mean, I feel a solid B on this. Not, you look at the numbers necessarily, and you would say that's a C, right? Like, I think that's pretty obvious. If you're going average as a C, but I think that what they did for the majority of the year, until I don't know what happened. Well,
I'll tell you what part of it was is they ran into Oklahoma twice. That was another about 20 runs.
Yeah, they did that, but they fell apart at the end of the season. The arms got tired.
Yeah.
And that's got to factor in to this too. General Sam on YouTube chimes in. Hopefully, losing Coach Lex won't be a hit.
Pitching coach. Yeah, Lexi Smith is. I don't know what she's moving on to, but she's not coming back next season. So we'll see what that does.
Yeah, we'll see. But I'll say a B. I think a lot of times we consider an 80 to be average. I did, at least. I was happy with a dang 80 in school. Yeah. So I'll be average any day of the week.
I'll take it.
Solid B for the pitching. For the batting, which are great.
I'm going to go a B also. Lineup kind of felt a little top heavy, but you also had some really good performances. The Veronica Harrisons, Bella Perez, Sophia Lundstrom, Peyton Helmley. Really solid nucleus. You would have liked to see a little bit more, especially later in the season and in the conference tournament game that you had against New Mexico State. You lost 3-0. If you could get, just an average performance from the offense, you win that game, and then you're into double elimination bracket play from there. So left a little bit to be desired, but there were also some really good performances.
Yes, there were. Again, you are what the stats say you are. 187th in the nation is slightly below average. 7th in Conference USA, slightly below average. 5th in home runs in conference, 93rd in the nation. That's well above average. Put those together, and I think maybe a B- is what I would give the hitting here. and if you get that up more towards a B, you got a team starting to make noise in the conference tournament.
Right. Which I think they can do going into next year. And I thought they might have been able to do it this year. Kind of feels like a little bit of a plateau from 25 to 26, but I think next year is when they might be able to take that jump.
Fielding, 28th in the nation, third in conference with 974 fielding. What's the grade?
I think it's an A. I mean, you can't do much more than that.
No, you're top 3 conference and top 3rd in the nation at minimum. You're really up there. Yeah, that's definitely an A for fielding this year.
Yeah.
So let's see. Coach General Sam says Coach Lex is stepping away from college coaching and isn't even going to do high school, but started working as an instructor at a place. Okay. Well,
yeah.
I'm sure there's reasons, and we wish her the best.
Yeah. And I get why. I mean, coaching college softball is a very difficult thing to do.
Yes.
Especially with how they're typically funded. Not just at Sam Houston, but everywhere.
Everywhere. And unless you're at one of like the major powers right now in one of the power conferences, and even at that, you still got to be top SEC or Big 12. Really, that's all that's at the College World Series right now.
Right.
Is just it's Big 12 and Southeastern Conference and one Big 10, UCLA.
Right. That's all there is.
That is. So there's not a lot in that. And also it's really hard if you have family, want family, the hours, the grind, and everything to do it. It is not easy. So we definitely wish her the best of luck and thank her for all the time she spent helping make the Bearkats better. Let's get a grade for the head coach, Garrett Vallis.
I'll go B also. I mean, like I said, maybe a little below where our expectations were, but Sam Houston softball has never really, competed back-to-back years at this level. And so I think that's commendable. Want to see it get to the next level, but I'll go B.
Picked to finish 5th in the preseason poll, but finished 8th. But 29-27 overall record, 13-14 in the conference. That just screams average.
Yeah.
Number 102 out of 308 for RPI, though. That screams above average. So, above average is what, a B plus?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
I'll go B plus. That's what the numbers say at the end of the year. If that's where you are in relation to the country as I see it, I think you're a B plus coach, and that's a pretty solid season. I'd be happy with that. My mom would have done cartwheels for that.
Yeah, that's true. I could see it.
Yeah. Overall grade for the program right now.
I'm going to give it a B. I feel like that's what I've given everything. I think it's a B. I think the program is still in a good place. You return a really solid nucleus going into next year. Don't think it was an A because we did have some pretty high expectations. I think I had them 3rd in the league to start the year. But the program's still in a good spot. Made the tournament back-to-back years, a winning record. So I'm going to give it a B.
I got a little more hope in this one. This grade's going to contain some hope because I think they're going to be a lot better next year. I think the future of this program, where it's at and where I think it'll be when we're talking this time about it next year, I got a B plus.
Yeah.
I think that they really have a chance to do something good, and I might be under what they can do actually with that. General Sam said, how many CUSA softball teams made it to the regional?
I believe it was just Jack State.
I think it was. It probably just was the automatic qualifier. That's hard.
Yeah.
And listen, this is why softball can't be the front porch now.
Well, and last season,
let's explain why softball won't be the front porch.
Yeah, well, in last season it was 2. I remember because I believe it was Liberty and Louisiana Tech in 25.
Yeah. Money is running the day, as we have discussed multiple times when it comes to college athletics. And there's no way Sam Houston's going to even try to compete, nor should they compete with these programs spending these millions of dollars on softball just to make it to a super regional.
Right. Yeah.
But Sam Houston doesn't need to be a part of that. Let's just stay back. And I think B plus is a really good spot to be.
I agree.
So that's my feeling on it. I know that is, but yeah, General Sam, I'm with you, man. 102nd in RPI and finish 8th. That
league
shows
had
you the strength of the league, but that doesn't matter anymore because it's all about like 4 leagues. That's it.
Well, and I was going to say the league was very compacted between like the 55, 60, and 110 range. And then you look at the conference standings. I mean, Sam Houston had a chance to go from anywhere from like 3rd to 8th or 9th going into the final weekend of play. So it was a very, very tight and compact league, and all of the teams were in that 60 to 100 range. Not all of them, but there was a good chunk, probably 4 or 5 of them in that range.
Let's be honest, that screams 2-3 team league, right? Minimum 2 team.
You
good league, right?
I feel like your RPI's got to be up there in the 50s, though. I mean, Liberty in baseball, their RPI was like 34, and they were the 4th to last team in the tournament for baseball. I mean, there is just no forgiveness for the mid-majors right now.
I would argue that baseball and softball are completely different in the money game right now. Baseball's had a money game, right, for a while. They have. And so the haves still have, the nots still not. Sometimes the have-nots can overtake some of the haves. That's why we love watching the regionals and the super regionals. We root for those teams. This year, but softball is different, man. Softball, the have and the have-nots was Texas A&M versus Mississippi State. They're both in the same conference.
Yeah.
Right. Money gap between the top programs that are making the tournament that they're allowing in, because see, now they got to be profitable for ESPN. The NCAA made this deal, right? They got to be profitable for them. So the big money's going to get in this tournament, so more people will watch.
Right.
So that hurts Sam Houston. That hurts softball. It's not that way as much anymore with baseball.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I'm saying like a team's probably going to have to be at least in the top 50 RPI to even have a shot at an at-large, probably top 40.
That's crazy, but yeah.
It's unfortunate.
It is, but look, softball right now is one of the most unforgivable. It's going to be run by the top tier until they get it under control with some of the spending stuff, because good God, man, I know they spend for other sports. I know basketball, they've talked about that funding, football, but the numbers they spend on a 30-person softball team is insane.
I know. Millions and millions.
Yes. And good for the players. I'm not saying this isn't about the players. They're just taking in the money. Why wouldn't they? It's about who think that, who are spending that money. That's where you got it. Yeah. Anyhow, we got more to talk about, including some financial stuff. And first, we're going to touch on track and field as soon as we come back from this final word from our friends at Eternal Roofing. Eternal Roofing is locally owned and dedicated to giving back to the community by supporting local organizations and charities. They are also the winner of Next Door's Neighborhood Faves for 2 consecutive years. And as you know, if you've listened to this podcast, Eternal Roofing is your choice for Christmas lights. They provide premium lights tailored to fit your home, season-long maintenance, and hassle-free removal. Kyle Tatum said, "They're very professional and great quality, on time and clean, and really made me feel like they cared for me and my home." Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email taylor@eternalroofingtx.com. Huge thank you to our friends over at Eternal Roofing. And I think, Ben, I would be remiss if on the season finale I did not mention that we're coming up on June and Christmas is like a couple
we're halfway there.
Away.
Yeah.
You better get scheduled right now, them lights, man. I'm telling you, they put them up, they take them down. You can't beat it.
No, you cannot. Got to get on the schedule now.
That's get on there. Track and Field Conference USA Championships. Let's go over how Sam Houston did. The men team finished 5th. Xavier Parker was 4th in the men's 100. He had a season best 10.22 in the 100. Will Smith finished 4th in the men's 110 hurdles, a personal best 14.01. Devon Fossey was 7th in the 110 hurdles with a 14.50. In the men's 200, Omarion Ferguson put up a personal best 20.62 to finish third. That guy, dude, Xavier Parker is fast. Fifth in the 200 with a 20.95. Joshua Sims-Waddy was third in the men's 400, put up a personal best 46.66. Ben, that is insanity. First off, the 3 6s at the end should be banned from eternity, right? That is a really bad number. But my best time ever that I still brag about is like 52 seconds on a 400. This guy's a half 100 ahead of me.
Yeah, you'd have about 50 meters left.
Yeah, this dude, that is insanely fast. Caleb Anthony was third in the men's 800, and good God, man, season best 148. Jeez, 2 laps.
Yeah.
Jabari Mitchell was fourth in that same event, personal best 149.86. Christian Rolak, fifth, season best 151.11. The men's distance team and the women's distance team, the Sam Houston's starting to come up on some of that stuff as well right now. And it showed as we keep going through these results as some of these relays that won too. Fontanopolis, Nicholls Fontanopolis. That's how, I'm sorry if that's not how you say your name. Maybe it's Nicholls Fontanopolis. He's hope.
A big boy too.
I bet he is. He finished third in the men's hammer throw, 62.02 meters. Means nothing to me because I'm an American. So 173 feet, 5 inches. Fultonopolis also finished seventh in the men's discus with a 46.21 meter throw, 151 feet, 7 inches for Americans. Mateo Ortiz, sixth in the men's shot put, 16.58 meters, 54 feet, 4 3/4. Geez. And the men's 4x400 relay finished first. That was Sims-Waddy, Parker, Anthony, Ferguson, a season best. 306.33.
School record too.
Insanity.
Yeah, school record.
Oh, geez, man.
And the men are sending 6 different athletes to the Western preliminary qualifiers, which begin tonight.
Oh, wow.
Actually. And then Nia Thompson, who won in the long jump, competes tonight in the long jump in the West preliminary qualifier. So that's to get to the national championships.
That is awesome. I think with what we're seeing from these, with circumstances and everything, it doesn't matter what category, they all get right now an A+ in my book in the track and field.
Right. Yeah, and I know
it's hard.
They had some videos of them training, and it's just crazy what they do at Huntsville High School. I mean, it's remarkable.
It's crazy that they're training at Huntsville High School because we don't have a track facility for them yet.
Yes.
That's okay. Women, though, they finished 10th in the team standings, but like you said, Nia Thompson won the long jump, a 6.32 meter jump. That's 20 feet, 9 inches. Tania Coleman was third with a 6.11 meter jump, 20 feet, 0.5 inches, and that 0.5 does count. Nora Ryan, fifth in the women's 800 with a season best 206.92. And let's see, Avery Brown's time, General Sam says in the 5K is wrong. They clocked her when she still had a lap to go. Well, I hope they would update the final standings.
Hey, you'll take that though. You gotta run one last lap.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah. No, I got these straight from whatever track website. Like I go there because I can break it down easier by team that way than I can from the Bearkats website. Capuolani Magnani finished sixth in the women's hammer throw, 52.87 meters. That's 173 feet, 5 inches.
Yeah.
Jatoria Barnes, sixth in the same event. Or no, in the women's triple jump. I'm sorry. Jatoria Barnes, sixth in the women's triple jump with a 12.4 meters, 40 feet, 8 1/4 on a triple jump. Wow. Women's 4x100 relay, eighth, season best, 45.93. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Women's 4x400 relay finished sixth with a 342.66, and General Sam says the 800 from Noah Ryan was a school record.
There were a couple broken there. I know the 4x4 for the men got all the attention.
Well, that 206.92, that wouldn't surprise me if that's a school record. That is flying in the 800.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they do at the preliminaries, and because I feel like some of these times, because I'm looking at some of the other regionals that are out there for the 4x4, and that 303.6, I believe that they ran. That's what it was.
306.3.
Okay, 306.3. So that time wouldn't get them through, but they're still, I think it's top 20 nationally with that time.
That's incredible. That really is, considering everything these athletes and coaching staff go through. And Caleb Anthony putting up a season best 148 in the 800. Like, there's so many of these that they get out there, and we could see some of them in nationals. I mean, Nia Thompson, first in the conference, she's got to be a one to be contending there at the regionals as well.
Right. Yeah. And nationals, I believe, are in Oregon.
Yes, they are. They are. It's a gorgeous
facility.
Nike
man. Oregon facility. Yeah.
Yeah. Phil Knight did a great job with that. I hate to give him credit sometimes, but he does. he gets some. So yeah, A+ for the track team, men and the women. Very, very, very nice job by them. Well, we have some financial information to discuss, and this has been coming for the last few weeks if you've been listening. First thing we're going to discuss is there was a release giving the payment. I believe Hero FCS put out the payout to FCS teams, and so I was able to look, and I got the Sam Houston payout. Real quick, let's go back for General Sam. Ellie Galen's 1,500 time in the prelims was a school record too. Yeah, I try to keep it shorter and only do finals. I mean, that's how good the program is.
Right. Yeah.
Payout to Nicholls this year. We're paying Nicholls $325,000 to come to Huntsville for a game. I'm going to ask you right now, Ben, how do you feel initial look seeing that we're paying them $325,000?
Yeah, well, I saw the full list, and I feel pretty good about it because the lower tiers are $300,000 to $325,000, and some of these other Group of 5, Group of 6 teams are paying $400,000 to $500,000 for some of these games. So I will take it being $325,000.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how to take it, to be honest with you. That's why I went and looked up what the rest of the conference did, because I think that's only fair. If I'm going to judge Sam Houston, I need to judge them by where they are in the conference right now. We can't judge them compared to the Southeastern Conference.
Right.
Northwestern State at La Tech. La Tech's paying them $400,000. Mercyhurst, they're making some bank next year on the Conference USA. They're getting $360,000 when they go to New Mexico State. Murray State, Middle Tennessee is going to pay Murray State $350,000. Jack State pays Eastern Kentucky $325,000. Mercyhurst making $325,000 from Western Kentucky. So when you look at that, $325,000, I think you got to feel that's a pretty good deal for that. And I I'm sure Nicholls may feel that that's a pretty decent deal too.
Right. Yeah, because they are not very well funded, to say the least.
No, they're not, and so that will definitely help them. So, okay, payouts are good. Now let's get into generated revenue. I've got a slide here. Matt Brown from extrapoints.com put out a list on his email. If you're not a member, I could certainly recommend you there after you go subscribe to our Substack. That's free. But Matt Brown's at Extra Points. He does great work. Great guy. He puts out all these FOIAs, and then he puts out numbers, and he puts out all this interesting data all the time. And so I took one that was generated revenue from him. Now, because of FOIAs, you cannot FOIA a private school. So Liberty is not included. Also, Delaware, their state law does not allow you to FOIA their state school. So they did not respond either. So My next thought, Ben, was what does generated revenue mean?
Right.
Ticket sales, donations, guarantee revenues such as these buy games, right? Or sell games, if you will, right? But how much you bringing in when you go play at Texas Tech, right? That's the guaranteed revenue, the buy games.
Yeah.
Media rights, NCAA distributions, conference distributions, bowl revenue, program novelty and concession sales, royalties, licensing, advertisement, and sponsorships, sports camp revenues, and other operating revenue. That's what's included. To me, that this is going to be a pretty good picture about where you're spending in relation to the rest of the conference, right?
Yeah, and the revenue you're generating. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you're right there in the middle because I doubt Delaware is going to be above you. So, I mean, that puts you right in the middle.
Now, the percent of total revenue generated. What percentage of their revenue fed into the overall budget? Okay. So if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, you will see that they have the conference. I pulled out the ones from the conference. And so Florida International was top in generated revenue, 13.8 million. Jacksonville State, 13.5 million. New Mexico State, 13.3. Kennesaw State, 12.8. Sam Houston comes in fifth here, 12.5. Western Kentucky, this one kind of surprises me, 10.8. Missouri State, 9.7. And Middle Tennessee State, 9.2. That's generated revenue in order. Sam Houston's fifth. Let's look at percent of total revenue generated. Sam Houston's 29%. And let's see where, Middle Tennessee, theirs is only doing 18%.
Yeah, you're right in the middle pretty much.
Florida International is that top revenue is less a percentage of their overall budget than where it's generated from than Sam Houston's.
Right.
So you look at Jacksonville State's 36.5%. That's pretty good. New Mexico State 33.6%. Considering they're at the top three of conference in this, that's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just shows that Sam Houston is getting to where they need to be slowly but surely. And I know their budget total that they announced a few months ago was, I think, $35 million for 2026. And so, I mean, it's for 2026, 27. So they're getting where they need to be.
And then generated revenue. That's where you need to be top three, right? Because you're talking ticket sales, you're talking what the people do, man.
Yeah, and I am interested to know what this number looks like next year because you did take 2 buy games for football.
True.
So maybe that dips down. The Oregon State game was, I believe, just over $1 million. So maybe that dips down a little bit next year, but that's still going to put you about in the same place. Yeah,
and that was a 10-win season. You know what I worry about, though, is last year with the attendance fallout and stuff, too. That percentage of overall may just plummet.
Yeah.
Because and then if you put in operating costs, right? To go to Shell Energy. If all that's included in this stuff, man.
Yeah.
And you have to take that into consideration when you see it next year too.
Yeah, I think also the generated revenue that's coming from the new stadium, I think might offset some of it, maybe not all of it. Like the suites, for example, are generating a few million. I mean, you're not going to see it all up front, but a little over $1 million per year just from the suites. So
when they look at FY26, which is pretty much last season.
Yeah.
Then that's going to go down, but FY27 is going to look a lot better.
Oh yeah, I think you'll see it really start to trend up then.
We have good news to end the season on. How about that?
How about it?
How about that? We want to thank you so much for joining us for this extended season finale. Hope you got learned a lot and got what you needed out of this. Remember, we're coming back. We will announce it. It'll be right around that week of July 20th, I believe it is.
Right.
We will be back sometime during there, possibly if we seeing how, because Texas Live is an awkward setup. It may be something where we just go live, but I don't know if we could interview players with it or how that might work. We'll see. A plan will be put together, and we'll put something out on our Substack page as soon as we know.
Yep. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Ben, thank you for another wonderful season, my friend. I really appreciate it. I want to say a big thank you to everyone out there, all of you. You're the reason we do it. If you're not watching and listening, we're not here talking. That's a wrap for the season 3 of March to the Pod presented by Eternal Roofing. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next year with more Bearkat athletics coverage. Until then, Ben, take us home.
Eat 'em up, cats. Have a good summer, and we will see you next season.
Enjoy 250 America. Freedom!